Welcome to this course on how to go more viral. My name is Alex Kinedinik and I'll be your instructor. In this video, I'll briefly tell you what to expect from the course, a little bit about my background, and we'll start right away. Well, I'm a long-time online marketer with 15 plus years of experience, and I've reached millions of people online through my marketing for free. And that's what I'm going to be showing you in this course. And in this course, we're going to be focusing specifically on virality. Now, people think virality is virality, but there's actually two ways to go viral. The first way is when people just share. You send it to one person or another person, and if a high rate of them share, that content will never stop getting shared. So a high share rate is a way to go viral. But there's another way to go viral, which is by using the algorithms of the major online social media sites like the YouTube algorithm, Instagram algorithm, TikTok algorithm. Those algorithms can propel you forward and get you millions of views on their own. And when you combine these two strategies, creating shareability within your content or your products and getting the algorithms to promote you, that creates even greater potential for true virality. Now, this is hard. It's not like you press a button and it happened to go viral, but I'll show you all the techniques that go into it. We'll start with titles and headline copywriting so that more people actually see and click on your links. We'll talk about how to make your content and products more viral from how they're consumed or used. And we'll talk about when to be funny, when to use viral memes, and many other techniques, including algorithms of those major websites for getting you extra virality, including we'll talk about the viral coefficient formula, which is actually a formula that helps you calculate virality so you can approximate how close or far you are, because your content can kind of get a little bit shared and die off, or it can get shared, and if there's a threshold, it starts to go up and have a hockey stick sort of a growth. So that's going to be the course. It's an exciting topic, and I wish you the very, very best in going viral. So let's begin. In this video, I want to show you features that you can add to your website that will make it more viral. And these features have a theme, and that theme is to have something of value that people can share on your website. So I'm going to give you an example with my own website for a cryptocurrency token that I created. It's the SPRK token. SPRK stands for Spark. It's basically a first cryptocurrency designed to fund creative projects so you can fundraise and get tips. This is exactly the value that's viral. Let me explain how this works. Instead of just having a cryptocurrency token, which anyone can make, I added the ability for people to post their projects here. So under projects, you might see some projects, for example, view project, and you'll see that this particular person posted their project. I don't know them, I've never met them, but they have this address here where people can donate through cryptocurrency, like as in this specific cryptocurrency. So there's a tutorial for how to buy, invest, and pay with this cryptocurrency right here so that anybody new can easily get a tutorial, so they don't have to be confused, because obviously cryptocurrency can be a confusing space. But you see this URL, it's on my website, but it also belongs to this person who made this, so they can raise money. And when they raise money through this website, they're going to post this URL on their social media. They're going to tell their friends to come here, and that's going to get virality because people are going to know about, hey, there's this Spark token. What is this thing all about? And suddenly I'm getting one person to invite many. This is exactly the perfect type of virality. One person finds out about your business, has something useful on your website, and because there's something useful, they make a home, they have like some kind of a widget, then they share your website. And anybody can do this. Even if you are not fundraising, whatever you're doing, you can, as you can see, tip me. You can create a page for tips. And by the way, you can do the same thing. If you're a creator online, if you want to be able to collect tips, you can post your own work and your own project here, make a page about it on sprktoken.com, and then share this URL and share your cryptocurrency address that you will make so that people can just tip you. If you have fans, if you already do something where people appreciate your work, this is commission-free tipping. You retain 100% or 99.99% of the tip. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny fee, which is a transaction fee for the cryptocurrency, but that pales in comparison to something like 3 or 4% that PayPal might take. So it's also much, much, much better in terms of not charging you those transaction fees. And a big part of why I made this particular feature is so that it would add virality to this project. It wasn't random. Of course, it is good to have people be able to fundraise, but it's a great benefit for the enabling website, in this particular case, my website, to have this feature so that people can create their pages here, share their pages, and through that, get a lot of benefit from themselves, but also promote my website. So try to add something like this that gives virality to your website. In this video, I want to introduce to you the concept of virality. Of course, everybody knows virality, but what is it really? So let's start with an easy overview, and then we'll get actually to the math of virality in a second. So obviously, when you share a post, some other people will share that post. Now, here's the thing. There has to be the same number of people or more people who engage from the ensuing sharing. So not you sharing, but after your friends shared, there has to be a bigger reach than your reach. If that's the case, it's viral. If it's not the case, the virality will die off. And we know how to boost engagement, so virality is not really a myth and it's not luck. It's something that we pre-plan for. And there's such a thing as a viral coefficient formula, so we can count this. The formula goes like this. And by the way, you don't have to do the math because I'm going to show you in the next video a calculator that will do it for you, but you have to still understand how the math works. You basically take the original number of people and you multiply it by the number of shares that you get. From that number of shares, you check how many people engaged with that. How many people do you have after? And then you divide newly engaged people by the original number of people that you reached. That's the formula. If the result is 1 or more, congratulations, you're going viral. If the result is less than 1, it's going to eventually die off and the sharing will die off. So here's an example. Let's say you post to 200 people and 200 people see your original post, and let's say 5 out of those 200 people share your post. And let's assume that each person has 200 friends. That means that we have a new reach of 1,000 potential people, but not everybody engages, obviously. So if 10% of those people engage, that gives us a new audience of 100 new people. Let's assume, for example, that every new share results in a 2% reshare rate by people who see the post. So from our remaining 100 people, a 2% share rate will mean that 2 people will share. And if we assume that on average, each person has 200 followers, it gives us a new potential reach of 400 people, which is smaller than the initial pool of people we shared to, which means that the virality of the post will die off. And anything you do to increase the virality of the original post, like making it a more interesting headline, give it a better image, anything you do to just increase sharing a little bit will eventually get you a few more people and boost your coefficient. And once this coefficient goes over 1, you're viral. So with practice, you'll start creating essentially viral posts. Not right away, of course, but that's the barometer. And of course, you don't really know the reach most of the time, but you'll start to have a sense because of the numbers of people engaging just with your comments and the longevity of the post, so and so on and so on. So that's the viral coefficient formula. Again, you don't have to do the math. We'll go over the actual tool that will show you how to do this in a second. If you don't want to do your own calculations of the viral coefficient, I've got a calculator for you. You can go to nichevertising.com/viral-coefficient-calculator. Scroll down a little bit and I'll walk you through an example. This works slightly different than the way that I've been explaining it to you, so I want to explain to you how to use this one so you don't make a mistake. In our example, let's say we make a post and it reaches 100 people. Then the second line is a little tricky. The number of invitees is the average invitee per member. So let's say there's an average of 3 invitees. So from the 100 original people, each person on average invites 3 people. Some people don't invite anyone. Some people invite a lot of people. So let's say on average 3 invitees per person. That makes 300 invitees. And let's say the number of sent invitees accepted, let's say, is 5% of the people who this is shared with. How many people actually engage with it? So if my friend shares it, how many of their friends are actually going to engage with it? So let's say 5%. Just for example, it may be slightly high, but it's relatively realistic. And then we'll say calculate the viral coefficient formula, and then it's very low. You see, it's only 0.15. And so you see, you get a few extra people, but the virality quickly peters out and is done. But let's say you get a high conversion rate on your sharing, and let's say that instead of 5% sharing, there's a 10% sharing. And basically all you have to do is, if you already made something, you just have to keep perfecting it. And once you make it funnier, better, more educational, whatever it is, once it's better, it will just get shared more. And maybe you'll improve how you ask people to share it. So it will become realistic that instead of a 5% sharing rate, you'll get a 10% sharing rate. So maybe then, on average, instead of 10 people will share it. And more people will see it. And so let's calculate this formula again. And then you calculate it and you see, oh wow, the viral coefficient is 1. That means it's going to go viral. So like I said, just keep improving your offering, make things that are a little viral, extra little bit more viral, and suddenly you see how easy and realistic it can be that things that are mildly viral or not at all viral become a little bit more viral. And so you get all this extra sharing, and you can just keep doing this formula and see how you would get extra growth. Because at some point it becomes really exponential. Once these numbers, the initial variables, once they increase, the total sharing becomes really exponential. So that's the viral coefficient calculator to help you visualize and see how virality of your pages and products can be calculated, and just how high the sky is the limit. Now that you understand how virality really works, it's kind of incremental, just a little more viral, little more viral, little more viral with every change. I want to offer you a strategy for how to leverage ads in a way that wasn't possible before we were able to unlock extra incremental virality from our work. And there's no pressure to run ads, although of course many people wonder, what's a good strategy for running ads? So in this video, just take it as it is. You don't have to spend money on ads, but what I want to show you is that there is a way to make you want to do it, because it will be immediately profitable. Here's how it works. Let's say you have something that's not viral at all, meaning it gets 0 sharing. So if you run an ad to target 100 people, 100 people will see it, and you can calculate, well, maybe you make on average 25 cents per one person visiting your site. On average, maybe you have a $10 product, most people don't buy, one person buys, so the average per person visiting is like a 25 cents. Fine. But let's say now you make something a little bit more viral, just meaning better headline, better images, more funny, something interesting in there, a little bit more of a hook, a little bit more of a twist, and then you start observing the posts that you currently have are actually a really good exercise to do this with. If you see anything on YouTube, on your blog, on anything where you're seeing the numbers are like, oh, some shares are happening. If you see that some shares are happening, you know that this has some viral coefficient, perhaps not a viral coefficient that will make you go truly endlessly viral, but here's how to use ads, you see. So let's say you have some piece of content that has some small virality. You run an ad, you target 100 people, but in the end, because of the virality, let's say you reach 120 people. Okay, those extra 20 people were free because of the virality. Now, you see, you're still making 25 cents per website visitor, but you're spending the same amount to make more now. So you are able to, what you will do is figure out, okay, what's the threshold where, what if my virality is such that 200 people come? Okay, now for the same amount of money spent, 200 people come. At some point, 300 people come. And at some point, the ads you run, maybe it costs you 20 cents to run an ad to reach a person. Well, it just becomes profitable per person, because you're not just getting that person visiting, you're also getting that tailwind of their social sharing, which together will give you more revenue than the money you're spending with ads. And of course, there are secondary benefits like email signups. There's more of those. There's more of everything. You can even run retargeting ads to the larger set of traffic that you got to your website. And retargeting ads, if you're not familiar, it's basically these ads that follow you around. Once you visit some website, you might see like you went to Amazon, then you went to some other site, and then on that other side you have Amazon ads. Why is that? It's creepy, right? Well, these are retargeting ads that anybody can run to target warm leads who have already visited. They're already familiar. These are not cold leads who are totally unfamiliar with your business. These are warm leads who are more likely to engage with your business because they've already engaged with your business before. So this is a way to leverage virality and ads as an option. This option may open up per different page that you might monitor to see if a page is getting a little more sharing. This is a candidate to start measuring how much money am I earning per visitor for that page, how many people are getting there, how many people are getting there for free with the virality. And that way, without any risk, because you've already calculated how much money you make on average from that page and how much each ad costs, because you can set a budget limit for your ad bidding, then you can run Google ads, YouTube ads, doesn't matter which ads, but you can basically just run limitless ads profitably while creating a great snowball effect, because since your ads are profitable, you can spend a lot of money on getting a lot of traffic, because those ads you've done the math, you've done the virality math, and the ads are profitable. So you can spend a lot of money, get more money back, and get more visitors. So that way, that makes your business really viral, like really viral, and really profitable, because you start increasing the revenue. And the key to it is improving the quality, focusing on the high potential virality posts, monitoring how much money you are making, and waiting for that opportunity, for the moment where it is just getting just enough sharing to make it profitable, and you're able to monetize that content just enough, whatever it might be. It might be a product, it might be a blog post with ads, whatever it is. Once there's a little bit of a threshold where the revenue is a little more than the spend, then you know, oh, I can run ads infinitely for a big budget for big growth of my business. In this video, I want to talk about the quality of your product or service and something called the Net Promoter Score. The Net Promoter Score is a calculation that you can make and determine how many people are sharing your product or service. We're not going to do that here because it requires knowing how many people detract and how many people promote. For most businesses, that's not a number you can actually accurately know, because you really don't know what your clients do after they consume your product or service. But there is a really valuable takeaway, and that is that there are 3 types of customers that are going to interact with your business. People who truly love your product or service. These are the people who will promote it. They will share it. They will talk about it with their friends. Those are the people that you want to maximize. For most businesses, there are few of them. For most businesses, the majority is in the middle. The second type of client, which is people who are lukewarm. They got your product or service. They bought it once. It did its job, but they're not like wowed. They're not going to say anything bad, but they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to share it. They're not going to promote it. And very likely, they are not going to come back again to your business unless they really, really, really need what your business is. And absolutely nobody provides it better, which is actually rare. So in most cases, they don't come back, which is bad. And then the third type of a client is people who hate your business and detract. These are people who leave bad reviews. They take refunds on the products. They do other things that are bad. You want to minimize them. In my career, this has been a really valuable way to look at clients. And my work is always to figure out, how do I make the people who hate my business into lukewarm clients, and the people who are lukewarm into people who love my business. And I just want to always increase people who love my business, because that just does everything, right? When people are happier, they do more what you want. They do more social sharing. They invite their friends, which is essentially client referrals, and other professionals in your field are going to be more likely, because of your high reputation, to give you professional referrals as well. You're going to get more repeat customers. So this is something that actually boosts your revenue. And everything that you improve about your product or service is going to correlate with more sharing. And if you leave it bad, if it's not that great, it decreases everything, right? Like it decreases all the effect of all your effort. And most people, when they start, they're so focused on marketing and promotion that often the quality of the product or service gets left behind. And the entrepreneurs are always wondering, like, well, what's wrong? Why don't the people love it? Why don't they come back? It's so great. Well, no, the truth is it's not that great. The greatness isn't determined by you. It's determined by how people are truly enjoying your product or service. So let's talk about some of the very common things that companies do to improve. More value from the core offering is the number one thing that you can do. What does that mean? It means that you can add a ton of bells and whistles, you can do everything you want, but really at the end of the day, the customer is there for the core value. Whatever the main thing your business provides, it has to do that amazingly. Sure, it can do other things great, but it has to do the main thing amazingly. I'll give you an example. I had an online course that I've been teaching for over 5 years. It stayed approximately the same. I don't want to give the name of the course because I don't want to seem like I'm promoting it, but the takeaways of that course, they stayed approximately the same, which I always thought were pretty good. That course never really got amazing reviews. It was always 4.1, 4.2. And then I started focusing on how do I improve the core offering. I started making better video quality, better audio quality. I got better recording equipment. I improved myself as a presenter. I started doing better editing. I started putting more examples into the course. And everything that students complained about, I addressed. And it helped them learn the thing that I was teaching. And naturally, that course went from 4.1 to 4.5 star rated. And that by itself increased revenue because people started buying because they saw, oh, wow, it's a far better course. So new customers, of course, started buying. And my current students, they're sharing it more. They're more active in it. They're completing more of the course. I focused on delivering the core value, and that made a tremendous difference. And people might ask, well, how should I promote the course? Well, actually, I didn't do anything else other than made it better, and that was a huge part of the promotion. Now, other things you can do is customer support and interaction. If you are proactive in helping your customers, the ones that are confused, the ones which are potentially people who might turn into people who hate your service or product because they're just not sure how to use it, if you support them, if you help them, you'll turn them into people who love it because now they understand how to use it. Also, of course, ease of use, usability, design, if that applies to your product or service, that also is very impactful to improving your Net Promoter Score. And of course, more value from the price. If you do provide more bells and whistles, more things for the same price, of course, people will feel better about it and they'll be happier. It's just natural. And of course, again, shift your focus from sell to new customers to take 10 or 20% of your efforts and put that effort into improving the quality of the offering that you have. Long term, just continue to improve, and you will see that it's as strong or stronger than trying to get new sales. With this video, let's dive a little deeper into how social media marketing works under the hood so that you can understand how to leverage it for your own virality. And it's no secret that social media websites financially work on retention. The more they retain viewers or users, the more they can serve ads or however they can make more money. And one of the great ways, not the only way, but one of the most common ways is to create evocative content. Of course, your content can be entertaining, it can be educational, but evocative content is what we're talking about here now. Evocative, emotionally evocative content. Now, there are many emotions that are possible. Joy, which is what we would all love. But you see online very often, the emotions that creep in are not necessarily joy. They are jealousy, anger, resentment, very negative emotions, and sometimes a mixture of emotions that you don't even really understand how you feel sometimes about something. And this is where you see a lot of people who are social media influencers, big ones. A lot of them don't appear to be very likable individuals. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're very polarizing figures. Some people flock to them. They're like, oh, wow, I want to be like them. And some people are thinking, oh, wow, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. And what a horrible people. I don't understand why people follow them. There's a lot of this online. Here's why that works. Because if you make content that's bland, just okay, kind of good, it's not enough for social media. Not in terms of virality, not in terms of that emotional, evocative nature. If you make polarizing content, like those influencers, some people will hate you and talk about you. Some people will love you and talk about you. They're all talking about you. You're getting attention. And the social media websites, internally, they understand it's not ethical to promote those kinds of people. This creates a bad culture because this online world trickles to the offline world and how we treat each other and how we see what's normal. It's not ethical. But they can't not do this because that means they would go out of business. So they're kind of forced to, these social media websites are kind of forced to promote the people who get the most attention, which that's how they have the most retention and keep their websites growing. Now, these influencers, they create this emotionally evocative, sometimes controversial content, and we have to learn a little bit from that. I understand you probably don't want to be doing that. I actually don't want to be doing that either. So what we want to do is just use elements of it tastefully, because what we miss a lot on social media is the silent majority. There are a few like very narcissistic individuals who will say or do anything that they don't even believe just to get attention. Social media is a place where those people thrive, and this is where you see that people with those kinds of personalities, I'm not saying they're purely narcissists, but people who have elements of that in their personalities really excel. But that's the minority. What the majority has to do, who has to answer this question, like how do I grow on social media, we have to respect ourselves, be kind to other people, all those things that as individuals, probably you and I probably want the same things, right? But grow. So we want to find emotional hooks that are interesting, emotion inspiring in some ways, but not over the top. Of course, if your personality fits that, if you are an over the top person, this is a natural playground for you. Fantastic, run with it, because social media is great for that. But most people aren't like that, and most people would even risk their reputation, maybe even risk their career, so they can't create controversial or over-the-top content just because it would spill over to negatively affect other parts of their life. So what you have to do is use emotional hooks, emotional words that are tasteful and leave you with self-respect and dignity, which is something we should all have, and also respect the viewers so that you don't clickbait them, you don't mislead them, you give them great stuff, but just more emotionally evoking. I'll give you an example. The other day I was thinking about this video I was going to post for my music channel, and it was going to be about Leonard Cohen's poetry. And he has a lot of romantic songs. He's a great poet. And the more you look into his poetry, the more you're like, wow, that's amazing. So he has that effect. And so I was really looking deeply into his poetry, and what I found is in a lot of his romantic songs are also like breakup songs, and they're beautiful because he's a great poet. But as I started looking deeper into his music, I noticed one thing is that a lot of the breakup songs have a nasty element. Like, when you break up, like if I was to break up with someone, I would try to do it classy. Like I would never say anything bad about them. But he's not like that. He says nasty things, but in like a beautiful way that first when you come across that, you're like, wow, that's so pretty. And then you think about it and you're like, wow, did he really just say that without saying that directly? He has some wildly nasty lyrics if you really look deep into the poetry. I'm not going to get into it here. In any case, I was looking at his romantic songs and I was going to make a video about like his best content, his best, most romantic things. And I was like, wow, actually it's mostly nasty. Now, nasty is like a word you wouldn't expect. And I thought long and hard about it. I was like, I love Leonard Cohen. I don't want to say nasty, use that word in my video, that his content, that his poetry is nasty, but he has some elements of like, he's not afraid to he doesn't hold back at times. So I decided, okay, well, I was going to be like the nastiest line. I don't remember exactly what the title of it was now, but it was something like the nastiest line in Leonard Cohen's poetry, or few nastiest, or something like that. And actually, that video got long-term engagement, meaning like at first, you post on something on social media, it gets a boost. And then that boost you get a lot of views in the first 24 hours, and then they very often die down, sometimes to zero. But that video got the spike in the beginning and then kept going. Just kept going. Nothing like a flood or anything, but just kept going because people were watching and they were like engaging with it and thinking about it, because it was like it hit them from the from the side. Like they didn't expect that. People say, oh, Leonard Cohen is beautiful, Leonard Cohen is great. You expect that. You don't expect nasty. And so I kind of used it. I tried to use it tastefully while expressing my appreciation for the beauty of his poetry in general and just the skill of his poetry. But at the same time, I snuck that in, and that actually got more attention than other similar videos. Like I used to make videos, the most poetic lines of poetry by Leonard Cohen. That would be my previous version. That would go nowhere. Like I love poetry, but it's for other people it's like a turnoff, right? So people were kind of engaging with it less, and on social media sites it promote me less. But doing something just a little bit more evocative, tastefully, hopefully still, always tastefully, always with self-respect, but at the same time a little more evocative, that will get you a little more of that attention and retention and attention that the social media websites crave, and will promote you if you create your videos in such an emotionally evocative way. In this video, I want to show you how to either be creative on your own or use help of artificial intelligence to come up with more catchy hooks and themes for your videos that absolutely grab attention. And what I'll be showing you is how to do this with AI, but you don't have to use AI. You can just think along the lines of what I'll be showing you. So here I am in ChatGPT, and I asked it at first here, if I'm making a video about Leonard Cohen's breakup songs, what can be a spicy title that will attract interest and clicks? And it gave me this kind of a title: Heartache and Poetry, Leonard Cohen's most soul-stirring breakup anthems. Now, what I would recommend for you to do is, if you're going to be a marketer, you have to be a lifelong student of what's called sales copywriting, because you have to recognize what's good and what's bad about this so that you can ask it follow-up questions to improve. I'll give you some things that are wrong here. You don't want to necessarily use words like anthems, because big words are kind of sometimes good because they're different, but very often you want to actually use simpler language. And also this heartache and poetry, it's a little bit of a, if you've heard of this phrase, show don't tell, it's a little bit like too direct. It doesn't inspire. You don't want to just say you're going to have heartache. Nobody has heartache after seeing the word heartache. They have heartache after experiencing something, and you have to make the person see some imagery to have them experience a little bit of what you're alluding to. And so this is missing a lot. And so of course I didn't like that. In your case, this is the kind of thinking you have to do. You really have to evaluate, either if it's your ideas or if it's ChatGPT giving you an answer, you have to scrutinize it and think about what's wrong with it, not to criticize it, but to improve it. So here is my follow-up question. I asked it, avoid using the word poetry, because first of all, a lot of people just don't like the word poetry. Even if they like poetic things, they don't know that they like poetic things. But once they experience, they like it. But the word poetry itself, to many people, can be a turnoff. It's a turn on to me. I love it. But it's an acquired taste, and I understand that. So we want to move away from the word poetry directly. So I said, avoid using the word poetry and make it more emotional. And here is another attempt. Broken hearts and raw emotion. I don't love that. It's still like too blatantly direct. Like, I don't have a broken heart after reading the word broken heart. It just doesn't work that way. So that part, that still doesn't work. But here is something better. Leonard Cohen's most heart-wrenching breakup songs. This can be kind of a hook. You see, it's not making me feel things just yet. But if you saw a video in your social media feed and the title was Leonard Cohen's most heart-wrenching breakup song, that could be interesting because it's a little bit clickbait. You have to click to find out what is the most heart-wrenching breakup song, and so you'll click and there you are on this video. And part of the reason I like this kind of a title is that it's clickbaity, but not too clickbaity. It's still within reason, but this can be extended to any artists. Leonard Cohen's, or the most heart-wrenching breakup songs of the 60s, of the 70s, of the 80s, of the 90s, or any artists like Bob Dylan's most heart-wrenching breakup song, or any, plug in the artist's name. And so while I'm not satisfied yet with the title that ChatGPT is giving me for this particular song, I am getting some tidbits. Like, this will be something I would save for my list of content I would create later. I'm like, well, I could create a lot of videos like this. It's a pretty recyclable, reusable title that I think would work really well. So I might save this as an idea for later. But what I want to show you next is you can ask ChatGPT for emotional words. Before ChatGPT, I would just kind of use my memory, which is human. It's not so great. I can't remember hundreds of words in 1 second that are specific to what I need. Or I would, in the past, Google for like top emotional words, and there are a bunch of articles on this, but ChatGPT is better at it. Let me show you what I would do. So I asked it, can you come up with 20 tear-jerking words that could be put in such a description? And it gave me some. Heartache, despair, sorrow, longing, melancholy. And so all these words, I'm kind of looking for imagery. What if it was, for example, this one? The Leonard Cohen song that will torment you forever. Now that's a cooler title. And by the way, a song that will torment you, it's a little bit more of that show don't tell. You can kind of see a person being tormented by a song, being haunted. Interesting, right? So you can pick and choose words, and you can kind of even save these for your own reference for any video you're making and maybe reference them. This is like a thesaurus essentially, but already you looked it up, so why not just keep what you looked up? Now, what if you're doing something else? For example, the same thing, but I don't want the romantic thing. I want controversy. So maybe, what if we search for words that inspire disgust? And so I asked it, what are the top words that inspire disgust? And here we have some words. I'll pick one, let's say filthy. What if you make a video about the filthiest but most poetic lines in music or something like that? Or maybe you might make a controversial video. Was Leonard Cohen a filthy poet? Now you would have people up in arms. Of course, in your video, you might say something like, no, he wasn't filthy, he was great, but here's some filthy lines, and you would literally show, hey, this line is quite filthy. He has actually some really filthy lines in some songs that he masks as like really beautiful and poetic, but if you think about them, they're just dirty and kind of sometimes raunchy, but not directly stated, so it doesn't appear so filthy, but if you think about it, it's filthy. So it's not wrong, and you can show it in your video, but this hook would work better because it's very unexpected. It jumps out at you because you see 100 videos of, oh, he's so great, oh, he's so wise, oh, he's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. And he is. But we're not trying to be the same as everybody else. We're trying to stand out and inspire emotion. And here is a way you can inspire emotion while still being on your brand, interesting, controversial, but controversial in a intellectually stimulating way that you can also back up with facts. And so now, if you have a video after this exercise, something like the filthiest lines in Leonard Cohen's poetry, people will want to see that more. Now, it might be off-brand to use words like filthy for you, but if you just think about it, it seems like a video like Leonard Cohen's filthiest lines would be much more clickable and watchable. It would inspire more interest. and actually secondary emotions, as opposed to Leonard Cohen's most beautiful and poetic lines. Because the beautiful and more poetic lines, it's a little too predictable. It's a little like been there, done that. The filthiest ones, we haven't been there and done that. I haven't seen anybody making such a video, certainly. And that's why this has a more of a viral component, would have a higher click-through, would have higher retention, would have higher emotional response to the video, and have all these kinds of elements that you at least want to experiment with in a manner that's tasteful, for whatever tasteful means for your brand and your views. Tasteful, still within reason, but at least a little bit more out there, a little bit more risky, because we don't want to never take risks in social media. We want to push the envelope a little bit and see what can we do that's a little different, what can we get away with, and experiment that way. One style of video that's very good on social media for virality and getting attention is to make a video commenting or responding to another video. And very often what you want to do is pick somebody who's really, really, really well known in your industry, who maybe yesterday said something like, or even today, if you're quick, they said something really unique or different or controversial, whatever. And people are talking about it. And what you want to do is think about, maybe you want to make a video on top of that, like a response video. They can be even in the background of your video, and you can play a tiny clip of what they said, the soundbite quote, and give your own opinion about it. Maybe equally controversial, maybe not controversial, maybe explaining, maybe having some great insight. And those kinds of videos go really well because you're using that person's hashtag and that person's name. Those social media sites know that that person is going viral now. People are going to want to see that content, and they're going to be more likely to share that content that you're making with more potential viewers who would otherwise never discover you. So definitely stay on top of your specific industry. Don't make it about random people. Your specific industry. Follow them on social media. Check what the discourse is. And if anyone says anything that's like kind of controversial, like for example, I follow this very, very well-known musician. He has like millions and millions of followers, and he basically trashes the current top 10, whatever the Billboard top 10, the top 10 songs are. He basically shows, hey, this is just absolute garbage, here's why. Don't want to comment on that because it's obviously controversial, and we're not here to comment on that. But if you commented in your video, let's say on that, if you were in music and he's in music, obviously, then you could kind of piggyback off the name of that person and whatever they are saying. So you can get recommended to people who are watching content by this person. Basically, that brand has millions and millions of views at the moment, and you would be getting some of that, which would feel like a flood because maybe you're a much smaller creator. So definitely pay attention to anything people are saying in your industry, people who are very well known, and you could jump on responding. The quicker you jump, the less thought out your response will be. So you want to give yourself at least like 10 minutes, think about what they're saying, maybe write it out. I kind of like to write out a script. I don't always use the script, but I like to flush out my points, because the worst thing you can do is make a video and be very not clear and don't express your point well, and then your video is just not good because you might have had some point in your mind, but you know how sometimes we have a point that we want to make in our mind, but we just haven't found the right way to express it. So you take a little bit of time so that the video that you make is good, and then when it gets shared, it really gets shared and hopefully goes viral. Now, because social media marketing websites love videos with retention, what you can do is use the listicles strategy, which is a timeless marketing strategy. It's been around for a long time. It's basically top 10 lists used to be popular, like top 10 this, top 20 this. With online social media marketing videos, you don't have a lot of time. Like most of the videos are like 1 minute or less. So it's usually top 3 this or top 5 that. And there's not a lot of time for more than that, which actually makes your job easier. So the other day I actually made a video of top 5 best Leonard Cohen's lyrics, top 5 most poetic lyrics or something like that. And that actually has gotten really good response so far. Like it's actually one of my best launched video. It's early, obviously, but it's not a strategy that I made. It's a proven timeless strategy because people are watching. They're like, well, maybe I'm on this first or second one. It's not so good, but maybe the fourth one is good and the investment isn't so much because it's just a few extra seconds for them to watch. And so they stick around and watch. It's not the end all be all because if the top 5 list isn't great, they're not going to really get retained. But if the top 5 list is great, the listicle nature of it will actually improve the overall retention. So you don't have to make all your content listicles, but every once in a while sprinkle in a listicle because they're easy to come up with. Top 5 this, top 5 that. There's so many top 5 anything. I can make top 5 best Leonard Cohen, top 5 most romantic, top 5 most vivid imagery in his poetry, top 5 most catchy. They're like, you can make dozens. And then if you, for example, if I made one like that with Leonard Cohen, I can make like that with Bob Dylan and the next artist and the next artist and so on. So listicles, try it. Nothing is a guarantee to work, but it's one of the common proven strategies to gain retention. And on social media sites, that also means a little bit of virality. I want to cover how to use images in your tweets in a way that will prevent you from making bad posts. Because if you're tweeting a link that's going to pull up some thumbnail image, you're okay. This is not about that. But let's say you're uploading some image that's a funny image or a meme, you're trying to go viral, or maybe it's a infographic. You need to be careful about image dimensions. Otherwise, it will look ugly. So what are Twitter's requirements? Size should be 1200 pixels by 675. You can tweet 1 to 4 images in one post, but usually for most of us, it's just one. So let's focus on that. And the maximum size is 5 megabytes to 15. In most cases, 5, but if you're uploading through their site, it can be as much as 15. And by the way, when you post, it's a good idea to have a test account so you can post there and then you can see how it looks like both on a desktop and on mobile. Remember, on Twitter, most people are on mobile. So let me show you a mistake that happens if you don't use this. This is one of my tweets. You see, this is it. Can't tell if homeless. This is a funny meme, but it doesn't make sense because this is an example that I made specifically for you. I'm going to delete this, but this is an example that I made specifically for this video that shows you how broken it looks like. Because when you click it, what it's really supposed to be is it's supposed to be this funny thing. It's a meme, right? Can't tell if homeless or just a tech entrepreneur. Ha ha ha, it's funny. It's meant to go a tiny, tiny bit viral, get some reshares, hopefully. This will be a common tactic to just get a little bit of a boost in followers and engagement. But it totally broke and fell flat on its head because if you zoom out, it just looks stupid. And people aren't that interested in this image, half image, and so they're not going to click. And it just looks like I made a bad tweet. So instead of boosting my profile, this might actually backfire because people see, oh, Alex is posting kind of weird tweets. So that will have a negative impact. So to save yourself from doing something like this, edit your image. It's very easy to edit images for free online. Let's say you want to resize your image. You don't have Photoshop, no problem. You just search for resize image online. You'll get to some websites like this, resizeimage.net. Very standard. You upload your image. This is the image. So I'm going to say yes, okay. And then guess what you need? You need it to be 1200 by 675. It's going to look a little distorted, but let's see how it comes out. Then you say resize image. Then you download the image. Let's say view the image. So it's a little distorted. So if it's that distorted, maybe you don't use this image. It doesn't look so terrible, to be honest, because it's just a little meme. It's fine. I would post it. If you're not okay with how this one looks, what I do is when you're picking your images, pick them that have a closer aspect ratio to how you need it to come out. But for most people, this is going to be okay. It's just a little stretched. But now if you download this and post this, it will actually look good on Twitter. and you'll get actual engagement to your post. So it's really that easy. In this video, I want to show you a tremendous way to grow on Twitter, and it's going to be ironic because, as you're probably well aware, after Elon Musk purchased Twitter, he said that people who are verified will lose the blue check mark unless they pay $8 a month. And you might have seen all kinds of celebrities. There was an uproar about, oh, I'm not paying $8 a month. And, I understand that Elon Musk can be a polarizing figure. Some people love him, some people hate him. I want to avoid that debate entirely and show you the benefits you can get with Twitter Blue that are actually going to be directly beneficial for you. So what you want to do is click on this Twitter Blue. When I'm on my desktop, I click on Twitter Blue. It tells me that I can pay $8 monthly or I can pay annually. Doesn't matter. Monthly is $8. Pretty affordable, especially if you just do 1 month. You go through the payment process. I'll tell you what happens after the payment process. Once you pay, in my case, it took about a week or a week and a half for them to verify my account. Let me show you that account. This is my music account. It's not my business account, but it's a hobby of mine. At Touched by a Song, it's where I post my own music. You see, this account is laughable right now. 8 followers. And I think out of this 8, 6 of them know me. They're buddies, which actually makes this account amazing for course examples because I'm literally starting from absolute scratch. Because music is my hobby, I don't have time to promote it, especially on Twitter. So what I want to show you is one of the benefits of Twitter Blue. So you see, I'm verified. I have no business being verified. I'm only having this blue check mark because I paid. But what it allows me to do is rank number 1 in popular conversations. Let me show you how that works. So when I click on home and I click on for you, Twitter will show me a lot of popular conversations in my niche and based on people who I follow. And there are always more conversations and tweets. And you see many of them have many replies, like 83 comments here. And you can see that there are thousands of people who've seen this particular tweet and so on, right? Very popular tweets. Not the most popular tweets in the world, but there are constantly more and more tweets coming that people are browsing. So what you want to do is comment on these tweets. Literally, you can click on this little reply here and comment your reply. Now, let me show you what happens when you reply. Because I am verified, it puts me as the number 1 reply in this thread. So the way I'll show it to you is I'm going to log into another account on another browser, which is me right here. You see, this is my account, and I'm basically just looking at a tweet just like that. They said, I need new music, drop your best songs. And I posted my song, this is literally me right there, and it said 17 minutes here. And I'm number 1 in the replies. You see all the replies. There are so many more replies, more replies, more replies, more replies, more replies. People dropping their music. They're hoping to get promotion, but if you don't see this right away and you post, you're going to be somewhere near the bottom or the middle. Nobody's going to look at your music. But in my case, I'm near number 1, you see. And next to me is a person who posted 2 hours ago. After them is a person 1 hour ago. So it's not exactly based on time because there's another person who posted after me. Like here's a person who posted 14 minutes ago. I posted 17 minutes ago. So in theory, I should be below them or they should be ahead of me somehow. But no, I'm ahead, you see. So this is just an example of a thread. And this kind of a thread is just, promo, people posting their stuff. But what you want to find is thought leaders, legitimate thought leaders in your niche, and write great and well thought out responses. You can take your time to respond because you're going to rank number 1 anyway. It's not about posting first, but you're going to appear so highly up in the replies that other thought leaders and other intelligent people will see your reply. And if your reply strikes a nerve in them and they think, oh, this individual is interesting, then they will click on you. They will be more likely to follow you. And this way you have a unlimited number of tweets on which you can engage, which can give you incredible visibility. Because if I show you examples of real influencers, for example, if I go on my Twitter and I'll show you some of the people that I love, that I follow, like Paul Graham, for example. Here's Paul Graham. I follow him. He has really great engagement. He's a fantastic industry leader in business. He has 1.7 million followers. And you will see that he gets 500,000 views on his tweets. This is a single tweet. And of course, many of those people go on to reply and read other replies because his tweets are intellectual and they're kind of conversation based. And you see this is his recent tweet just 6 hours ago. Here's a tweet with 250,000 views. You see, these are the kinds of tweets that Twitter Blue allows you to get incredible visibility on. And if you think, oh, $8, just think about it in ad spend. It's wildly cheap. If you had to get this kind of exposure, unlimited exposure, buying YouTube ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, paying influencers, even Twitter ads, this is the cheapest by orders of magnitude. And this tremendous advantage is available to you for only $8. And of course, I want to set some realistic expectations. First of all, you're not going to rank as the first reply to a tweet forever. Also, in popular tweets, there will be other people with verified accounts. So it's not going to be as smooth sailing as can be, but you'll still have a tremendous advantage. And if you keep doing this enough and people actually start following you and those people are in your industry, you see when somebody already is a follower on Twitter, they'll see you ranking even higher in the replies and your tweets will appear to them more in addition because they'll start following you. So in the beginning, you'll have few followers, but as time goes and you'll actually get real followers, they'll see your content more, you'll get reshared, retweeted more, etc., etc. In this video, I want to show you a very simple but effective strategy for getting retweeted and reshared by big name brands, and that is by simply complimenting. So here's an example of an account. It's my buddy, Nick Loper. You might have heard of him. He's kind of a popular podcaster on how to make money online, that kind of a niche. And you see here, he has 23,000 followers. And of course, if you're in the same niche, it would be nice to get retweeted by him. It's not 1 million followers, but it's also nothing to sneeze at. So what you would do is genuinely compliment him. Let's say, for example, you listen to his podcast, or maybe you bought a book of his, or maybe you engaged with his business in any other way. What you would do is you would just basically take his handle and you would just make a tweet. So you would say something like, I'm listening to the podcast episode about XYZ by the awesome Nick Loper, and you might want to link, I'm just going to post a link here, to his work, which promotes his work. And of course, instead of awesome, you want to choose a word that's a little better and more descriptive. The more genuine you come across, like the podcast episode about XYZ, well, you have to know what that episode was and you have to actually have liked something in it. So you see, if you tweet this, he might see it. It's a promotion for him and he might reshare it. And he might say something like, thank you. And suddenly you just got retweeted and your account got exposure to his 23,000 followers from just complimenting people. And what I would recommend is maybe 1 out of 15 or 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 20 posts that you make on Twitter, find something nice to genuinely say about someone else in your industry, in your niche, give them a great compliment, showcase their work. Not only is that going to maybe be a start or a continuation of a great business relationship, because people appreciate that, but they might also reshare you, which would give you immediate exposure to new followers. And that's a very simple strategy that most people just don't use enough, but it's very easy to implement.
So a lot of people think that they have to create a lot of their content, especially the viral content, but it's actually really hard to create. And why would you do it when there's a ton of viral or semi-viral content available to use for free? Here's an example. So I'm obviously in the business/entrepreneurship niche. So that's what I Googled for here, business memes. Okay, very good. And there's a lot of memes. A lot of them are not that funny, but some of them will be pretty funny. And you can find both inspirational and funny memes depending on what you'd like to post. If you post only funny or only inspirational, it will get a little boring. But this is fantastic if you want to mix things up with your regular posts. So let's see if we click more images for business memes. And obviously you can have other searches that you do. I just did business memes, which is a pretty boring topic. You can do other topics that are more specific. You'll find more funny ones. But don't just grab the first one, although the first one here is pretty funny. Hello, this guy has this song. Is it me you're looking for? And so they're making a play on this. Is it leads you're looking for? So if you're marketing, this might be a good one for you. But a lot of these, they're a little bland. Let's make money together. Okay, it's boring. Don't use that. So you got to sift through these. For me, when I was preparing for this video, I found one I really liked and I thought it was hilarious. So this one, starting a business, you look younger, and then running a business, you look like an old man. Totally true. People can identify. It's super stressful, and people will have a laugh at it. And you can share it from right here if you want to. You see that? Boom. And you share it to your Facebook, Twitter, and you can also copy it and share it wherever else you want. Now, some of these images will be copywritten, so you cannot use them for commercial purposes. So how do you find ones that you can use for commercial purposes? For example, you can go to advanced Google image search, and the first result will be exactly Google advanced image search. And what you do is, you see here, it says it's not filtered by license as a default, but you want to say free to use, share, or modify even commercially. That's what you want. Or if you don't modify, free to use or share even commercially. That's if you don't modify them. So then you go business memes, and it will find you all the business memes you can use. There's going to be fewer and you'll have to sift through them more, but at least you'll be able to use this content without any worry. You can also search Google for copyright-free, let's say business memes like I'm doing here, and find what you like. And let's say you don't like anything or too much. You would change it around, wherever you search business memes, you would just change that to like entrepreneur memes, right? So, and different memes would start coming up. Some will overlap, some will not overlap, some will be new. So this is approximately how you begin to find copyright-free, funny, viral images you can use right away without having to create them. And in the next videos, we'll get further into how to find more and how to create your own. In this video, let's talk about how to create your own memes for free. So I'm on this website, imgflip.com. It's a pretty standard website. There's a lot of websites like this where you can find a lot of existing memes you can use and create your own. So there's a lot of sites like this, but this is just one good example of them that's great to use. You of course can browse existing memes, but for now, we are here to make our own meme. So on the right side, you would say something like make a meme, and you see all these popular memes that you see online all the time, right? People just put words on them and make it funny. So you would choose one. I've actually chosen one. And by the way, you see, there are some already pre-made one. They just might not be a fit for what you're doing for your brand. But let's say we make one. So I'm in the business niche, so I had to make something for the business and entrepreneurship, and I made one. And you might think, well, Alex, you are really not funny. Okay, fine, I'm not a comedian. But at least this is mildly funny to me. I admit it's not that funny, but here's this guy, it's me, and I'm looking at high-paying clients, oh, cool. And then people trying to bargain, I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with that. So you would just say, create a meme, and you can use this meme right away. You can use this link, and that's what we'll do. You see, I took this link and I posted it on my Facebook group, and I posted it on Twitter as well. Here it is on Twitter. It was as easy as posting the link here, and then obviously using some hashtags. So I use the hashtags entrepreneur. If people like it enough, it will start trending in that hashtag. Obviously, this is not as funny as it could be. I spent about 3 to 5 minutes trying to come up with this little joke. If you spend more time and as you become better at it in your niche, and as you start to explore what really makes it funny, and actually becoming really funny, you'll start to have these things get shared. And when you start to have these things get shared, that's called virality. That's another word for this thing going slightly viral. And of course, more people will get exposure to your brand. So it's that easy, and you can post it all over your social media, Pinterest, Instagram, wherever. So that's how you create photo, image, memes. And by the way, totally for free and in just minutes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a GIF meme, which is kind of like this little video that you see, all these little videos. And I basically wanted to make a nice one for my students. So I searched for gratitude in this site called Giphy. Giphy is probably the most widely known such site for this. And you can do a lot of with this here. You can just stickers, there's reactions, but here we have GIFs because they are kind of extra little bit cool. For some people, they're annoying because they're just short videos that repeat, but they're kind of cool. And at times they can stand out more than images, and it's good to break things up. Sometimes posting meme images, sometimes GIFs. So it's a good option. So for me, I found this one. I want to say thanks to my students. So what I would do after searching, let's say you settle on one, you find one, you click here, this little link, and it says link copy to the clipboard. And then what you would do is you would say create your own. See, create here. And you would put that URL right in here, and you see it starts creating it for you. So here you enter your caption. I'm just going to say thank you, students. And so I wrote a nice note here. Thank you, students. I appreciate you, your instructor, Alex Kinedynik. This is not funny, but this is just nice. And you can play around with the colors of the text, see which one stands out. I kind of think red is okay. White probably was better. The style, you can play around with that. Whatever is bigger and more readable, I think I like that. This one is nice. And you see I put some stickers in here on this tab, and then go back to the caption, and you basically go down, continue to upload, and you create it. Upload to Giphy, it's creating it, and now it's in your account because you have to make an account, but it's free, so it doesn't matter. And then you can share it. You can share it on any of the social networks. You can copy a link, so you can send that link. You can embed it into places. Here's an embed. And obviously you can share it in a way that's convenient for you wherever and however you want to share it. You can share it through email, social media, wherever. But essentially you can create your own good memes. They can be funny. They can be appreciative like I've shown here. And there's many things you can do. They're just extra little bit engaging. For people who are just your consumers, a lot of people, they don't know how to create these. So for them, it's a little bit cool. Now that you kind of see the behind the scenes, maybe it's not so cool. It's just, whatever. But actually, these get way more engagement than regular text posts. It's just an engagement boost. I want to show you how to use Twitter to find influencers that can help to promote your work. And then I'll show you some strategies for actually how to get those influencers to actually promote your work. So here I am on Twitter. This is an account of somebody named Barry Schwartz. He's a very well-known person in the SEO industry. I would maybe categorize him as the #1 journalist in the SEO industry. What I want to show you is once you go to his profile, you click on these 3 dots here, and what you'll see is Twitter lists. Some people make lists. Let's say he's in the SEO industry, and so he would make a list of like maybe SEO people. Some people make lists, some people don't make lists. If you click here and there's no lists, you just move on to the next influencer that you find. But if you have somebody who has lists, for example, we'll click this and you'll see he has 2 lists. His team, which we don't care about that much, but he also has Search Engine Land team. These are people who write for Search Engine Land, which is a magazine about search. Perfect. We just stumbled upon a list of journalists who also write about search. So we'll click on this Search Engine Land team and see 13 members, and we know who they are. Boom, boom, boom. So what you go is follow all of them. So you can follow this list yourself. You see with one click of a button. And then once you're following them, you'll be getting their tweets. So what you want to do is comment intelligently on their tweets and reply to their tweets whenever you're able to write something intelligent. And then after a while, they'll start recognizing you. And if you ever have something to promote, for example, if you go to my profile, I created this funny song. I've got this like funny song on YouTube. It's a funny SEO song that I made. If we click on it, it's just a song, and then I do some funny things in there, like I dance around. We can look at this. But it actually is pretty insightful about SEO, and it's funny. So my goal, for example, if I'm following those SEO professionals and I have this SEO song, which is kind of a catchy, funny thing, specifically made for the SEO industry, then only after a while of tweeting with those SEO professionals or journalists, I would send them this song, hey, check it out. And I would say something like, hey, check it out, I made a funny SEO song. And they would be more likely to take a look then and reshare. And if you make something niche, like this is niche, right? Only for SEO, and you get niche influencers to promote it to that niche, well, those people who have a good niche following, if they share it, a lot of their followers will be super relevant, and those people might share it. And with one person sharing, that might get a lot of recognition. So that's how you would use Twitter and Twitter lists to find a lot of different influencers. And by the way, I only used one influencer, but you can use many and create a very big list of influencers that you would follow. In fact, you could create your own list of these influencers and periodically reply to them, because if you're in some niche and they're in some niche, you'll be in this niche a month from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. So actually don't look at these relationships as, I hope they promote me once and that's it. Look at it as relationships that can grow and strengthen. In this video, I want to introduce you to the Revive Old Posts WordPress plugin, which is going to help you with your SEO to get more traffic and with your social media automation. Because this, if you have a WordPress website, it's going to allow you to take your blog posts and it's going to automatically post them for you, because you know what happens. You write a blog post, you share it on social media, but then a month later, 2 months later, a year later, you just don't share those blog posts anymore. And this plugin shares your posts continuously and gives those posts new life, which is not a huge signal for Google search, but it's a nice small signal for Google search you get for free to help boost your SEO rankings of the old posts and continuously give them traffic. And in your case, if you get traffic, of course, if you sell something, you may get even more sales. So that's this plugin. This kind of a plugin or similar kind of plugins are industry standards. They're very popular because they just help you automate things that you would naturally forget to do. So let's actually go through it and let's install it together. It's going to be for this website, touchedbyasong.com. It's my hobby music website. As you can see, I have some songs here and I have a blog that I write sometimes because obviously, I don't make any money with this. In fact, I lose money with my music. It's just a passion hobby. I don't sell anything. So I generally have very little time for this because it's not my first priority, unfortunately. So the problem for me is that you see my Twitter account about this topic is very dormant. Like right now, if you look at my Twitter, 6 followers, right? It's kind of a loser account right now. It's not my main Twitter account, but it's my Twitter account for this project, the music. And so while I just don't have time to invest in social media marketing for the music, even though I should, I just don't have the time, this plugin is going to help us. So what I'm going to do is go to plugins, and under plugins in your WordPress setup, under add new, right here, you're going to search for Revive Old Post. And it's going to find this Revive Old Post social media auto scheduling. Install now. It's going to install. After installing, it's going to give you the option to activate. Let's activate it together. Now it's activated and it's going to give me a pop-up right here you see on the bottom. Click here to get started with Revive Old Posts, and I'll click next. And it's going to take me through a few setup steps. So it says you need to connect an account. I'm going to connect my Twitter. You can also connect your Twitter, and paid options are LinkedIn and Tumblr and other things. But for me, I just want to connect my Twitter. In general, for most people, they're going to want to connect their Twitter or Facebook. So let's say Twitter, sign into Twitter, authorize app, because I'm already signed in on this browser. So I'm going to authorize this app. It's going to redirect me back, and great. Now you see on the right side, it says sharing has not started.
But you see here it says click to start sharing. Okay. And it has a countdown like 13 seconds, 12 seconds. So we're going to inevitably wait. And when it shares, we're going to see how it looks like. And then while it's counting, let's actually see general settings, what you can edit. And so you want to have a minimum interval between shares. You don't want to share too often. So how many hours? This is hours. I'm going to say, like, let's say 48 hours, just because I want to kind of keep it tasteful. Minimum post age, meaning like if you launch a post, you're going to promote it by yourself probably. So you don't want this thing to promote it too. So let's say like 14. This is days. You can see in small print minimum age of posts in days. So we're going to say 14. And then no maximum post age. And then unfortunately, for maximum post age, they give you a year of posting and then they want you to pay, which is reasonable enough. Or you can just have it promote your most recent posts for free. Number of posts per share 1. That makes sense. And then there's all these other features. They're a little less important, and we're just going to go save because the posting schedule was the important part here. And since that timer has actually already counted down, we can actually go to our Twitter and see that, you see 1 minute ago, this post went out about, Mr. Tambourine Man, lyric and poetry analysis that I did. This is from my post, from my blog. And so that's this plugin. You don't have to do anything else. It's just going to revive your old posts that are younger than a year old. And of course, as you saw, if you want it to revive old posts that are older, of course you have to pay. But again, for free, you can just focus on the posts that are 1 year old. And if you find that this is really helpful, you can consider the paid option. And if it's not really helpful, then it's not really helpful and there's no point reviving the even older posts. So you'll just observe how helpful it is for you and make the decision after 1 year. And most people just use this for free. And the only reason you would pay is if, let's say, promoting to LinkedIn is very important for you, or you want to keep reviving the much older posts, or you want to keep reviving different types of content. You see post types. That's something you select in the pro version. So first, most people just continue using the free version, which is nice. It does help you. And then if you see, oh, this helps me tremendously, you can experiment to see how much it helps you if you get the paid version. The paid version for this is not that cheap, unfortunately. So you'll just have to see how much it helps you in your case and make the decision individually for you. But in most cases, people just end up using the free version. Now I want to introduce you to a very savvy social media marketing strategy that's going to help you get a lot of extra sharing on social media from the customers you already have. And of course, extra sharing is going to help you in two ways. Naturally, it's going to get you more traffic because of extra sharing on social media. But secondarily, it's going to help to boost your SEO, search engine optimization, because social sharing is a ranking factor. And we're going to call this strategy the shareables and quotables strategy. Let me explain to you how this would work. Instead of doing what everybody else does, like when they create their product or book or course, people just create it and that's it. In addition to that, one little extra thing you can do is add a shareable or a quotable. For example, let's say I'm writing a business plan book, and this is for people who are starting a business naturally. In every chapter and subchapter, I can have a super takeaway, like one-liner. For example, if I'm writing about business failure, what I can write is, most businesses fail, but there's one secret superpower skill that's going to increase your chances of success by 5x. And that is simply persistence. Learn to be persistent. So people will be like, oh, persistence is the number one skill to turn potential failure to success. And if they're reading a business planning book, they'll be like, there will be an aha moment in their mind as they're reading. Hopefully your insights are strong so that they have an aha moment. And once they have an aha moment, you literally say quotable and shareable, literally write that in the summation of every subparagraph or paragraph so that they know to share this. And suddenly they'll tweet, I'm reading so-and-so's book. Here's a great quote. here's the link to that book. Or they might refer, instead of the link to that book, they might refer to the book by the name, and their friends can just look it up on Amazon and buy the book. So suddenly you're getting extra sharing. And you can do this anywhere. Like in this course, for example, I don't have this pre-planned yet, but like you could make a little catchy rhyme and say something like, marketing is all about the targeting. Catchy and it's rhymey. Marketing is all about the targeting. I think you can make it rhyme a little better than I'm currently doing. But you see, it's catchy. Marketing, targeting, marketing. The targeting is the skill of the marketing. Something like that. I got to workshop this one, right? Or, you can tweak words like nightmare marketing. Like if you don't want to get nightmare marketing, get this course. So like, I'm going to save you from night marketing. Something funny like this. So either super insightful or funny or interesting, something that stands out so people can share. That's the idea. It's creating the same exact product or content that you would already have done, just with an extra little shareable thing. And the more insightful and the more genuinely good and interesting it can be, the more likely there will be an aha moment and your consumer will feel amazing at that very moment because they're literally learning, and this is why they're there, or getting whatever other benefit of your product. It doesn't have to be learning. And at that moment, when they're excited, when they feel the best, they will be the most likely to share as well. And of course, for different products or services, you have to structure and position this slightly differently so that makes sense to your consumers. But it's certainly a strategy to think about before you launch your product or service so that you can take advantage of this very feasible and very within reach strategy so that you can get the extra sharing and the extra traffic just from the quotables and shareables strategy. In this video, I want to introduce you to a service. It's a free service, Linktree, linktr.ee, that is really helpful in cases when you have many links, like a link to your Twitter account, your Facebook page, your Facebook group, TikTok, Instagram, your website, your YouTube. There's a million links. And sometimes people will ask you, where should I go to learn more about you? And it almost doesn't matter what you're promoting. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's an e-commerce business, maybe it's a book, maybe it's apps. You'll always have many links, and it's hard to manage, and you never know which one to mention because maybe one person is interested in your Twitter account because they're comfortable using Twitter. Another person's comfortable using Instagram. Another person hates social media. They just want to go to your website. This is solved by this tool. So let me just show you how it works, how to sign in and register. This is the only link you ever need because you'll have a free homepage here with all of your links. So people only have to come here. And then from here, they access all your links. And it says, you can even collect payments, right? People can give you donations for your work. So this has actually many benefits. And one way to decide, like, do you really need this? When I promote my courses, I don't really need this because there are only a few places where I promote my courses. That's just the case for me in my unique situation. But I also make music. For music, this is crazy, right? Because you got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, my website, different links to songs, latest release, all this, right? It's a nightmare. So we'll quickly set this up. I'll just show you the pricing so it's clear. There's a forever free account, so don't worry about it, right? You can link to as many places you want. You can still collect payments and tips. You can embed your content. The main value of the service you can get for free. The bonus features that you get, they're actually not all that useful. So really the free account is where you get the value. So let's sign up and go through the whole process. You click on sign up on the top right and you get your username. Now this is important. It should be something easy to remember and spell because the problem with this site is that the domain is already weird. Okay, linktree.ee. If you say that to someone in a conversation, they'll be like, what? And there's an extremely high chance a person will forget it. So at least make your username easy. It should be something on brand, like it could be my last name. I know it's not taken because I have such a weird last name, but this is sort of last resort. I would love Alex, but it's taken, obviously, right? It's just such a short thing. So I'll just do Genedinik. I agree to this. So I'll enter my email. I'll enter the password. And
I'll say sign up with email. Then they ask you your name. This is just very basic steps. And then select the category that best describes your link tree. Entertainment is the closest thing they have. And then they give you secondary options. Music. Perfect. So I'm going to say yes. Okay. Continue. And then they really want to upsell you the $6 thing, right? $6 a month, but you select the free one. So you sign up for free. And then you just continue to your link tree. Now, they tell you that to publish your profile, you need to verify your account because they send you a confirmation email. Let's just do that now so that we get rid of this. You would get an email from them and you just say verify email. And they're going to tell you you've been verified. Great, continue. And now it's time to add your links. What you'll say is add a new link, and maybe it will be like Instagram. So I'm just going to go get it and paste it in. So this is my Instagram. You can give it a thumbnail. You can do this on your own time just because it will take a while to make a unique thumbnail for every link, but you could do this. The next link might be the YouTube. Then you go and get your YouTube URL, paste it in here. On YouTube, what's actually kind of cool is you can actually ask visitors to subscribe. Amazing, right? Then your website definitely should be there. And you get the idea. You get all of these links. You might not want to have like 20 links because it's too much for people to focus on. But what you do want to have is your main things that is important. So for music, this is important. I might want to also add my TikTok. And just as an option, instead of promoting your entire account, maybe you can post a link to your best, something best on TikTok. So maybe some specific post on your TikTok. And then of course you can drag and drop. So maybe TikTok is least important for you. And maybe Instagram is second more important. And then YouTube has my best stuff, but then my website has my everything. So this would be the order, right? And then you can see your link tree right here. So you can actually share it like, hey, I just created my link tree. You can share it on all your social media so that your social media followers can follow you elsewhere. That's one thing you can do. But you can also check how it looks like. So you will click on it yourself and you see, boom, very easy. Of course, you want to fill out your thumbnail, so there's some branding. But essentially, whenever somebody asks, hey, where can I learn more about you or your work? You can tell them this. You can also put this on your business card if you still carry around business cards. But mostly, this actually helps you retain and attract real potential followers and cross-pollinate them across all the places where you are prominent and active online so that they know where to go and they can follow you in multiple places very easily. So that's Linktree, and that's how you use it and set it up.
In this video, we're going to have a real treat. I'm going to give you 4 ways to promote just about anything. An app, a product, a personal brand, content that you made. And the great thing about these ways is that they all have the potential to go really big, and they all can be implemented either today or as soon as this week. And I'm actually doing all these 4 things right now with my music. I have a passion project, like a hobby that I really love, and it's music. I don't make any money from it, but right now I'm doing all these 4 things to promote my music, and I'm going to walk you through exactly. So if you're wondering, like, is he promoting something? Well, I don't make money from it, and actually, if you've done anything as an amateur musician, you know that you actually just lose a lot of money with it. So anyway, so let me show you the music website that I'm promoting, and then I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing to promote it in a big way. So here's the music website. The website is Touched by a Song. This will come into play later. And I have obviously a YouTube and a Spotify and all the things that people have with music. So now that you understand what I'm doing, just basically an amateur musician sharing my passion. Let me show you exactly what I'm doing to promote this. Now, first, and perhaps the most fun, is I made a bunch of clothing with my brand on it. Look at this. I literally went to customink.com, which is a website that allows you to just create your own designs. And all I did is I chose a color of a t-shirt. By the way, these buff arms, that's not my arms, that's a model. But you see, I put my URL of my website, Touched by a Song, and I put a guitar there. So, I walk around. Sometimes people ask me, hey, do you play music? What is this thing, Touched by a Song? And by the way, I also made a hat. And by the way, I also made a hoodie. The hoodie I made from a different place. But you see, if I zoom in, you can see basically touchedbyasong.com and that little guitar. Very similar, terrible design. It's like basically I made it. If you hire a designer, it would be nicer. But even so, I just have fun walking around in this clothing, and a bunch of people see it because I wear my hat all the time. And when it gets colder, I wear the hoodie. When it gets warmer, I wear the t-shirt. And I have a bunch of designs that I made, and it's really fun, and it's a conversation starter, and I love talking about it. So for me, this is great. Now, let's say you make a really nice design and you upload this design onto Etsy, onto Amazon. Now, this is where it can go big, because let's say people search Amazon or Etsy for something like music t-shirt. In my case, because it's music, right? In your case, if you're promoting something else, it would be something else, but something on the theme of your business. And then if you can be number one or on the first page of Amazon or Etsy, or even promote these shirts on your website, like I don't actually try to sell these shirts, because for me, this is not about making money. For me, this is about sharing something that I love. But at the same time, even if it wasn't about making money, if more people walked around with these shirts, not just me, but 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people walked around with these shirts on just because I was able to sell to them, well, that's branding now, especially if the shirts are attractively designed. So that's sort of like step 2 of this strategy. First, you make the clothing for yourself, then you make a nice design, and then you promote that design on Amazon, Etsy, and then hopefully that becomes one of the top t-shirts in that little sub niche, and then people just buy it randomly. Random people will buy it, and it has a little bit of your promotion in there. And also, of course, you can sell it to fans who, if they are your fans, they would buy it and they would proudly wear it. And that's just every person wearing it is more and more promotion for you. So I love this clothing strategy. It's fun and it's actually exponentially effective. Not to mention that if you do want to make money, you'll make a lot of money if you're on the number 1 page of Amazon or Etsy selling your clothing design. And you can easily create your clothing brand on Amazon. All you do is go to merch.amazon.com. They print the shirts for you. They ship the shirts for you. All you have to do is upload your designs and go through the sign-up process, and it's actually pretty easy. Very similarly with Etsy. And there's a bunch of additional smaller but still popular t-shirt sites like redbubble.com and so on. So you can sell your t-shirts with your brand that you're promoting on all these places, make a little money, and also promote your brand. Now let's look at a second way to promote your brand, and that is with an ebook. Now, if you're thinking like, I don't want to write an ebook, do I have to write the whole book? Look at this. I wrote a little ebook. Now, first of all, I'm a kind of an experienced writer. I have a bunch of business books that I've written. Those books have nothing to do with my music. So what I did is I actually put together a tiny book for my music. If I sign into my kdp.amazon.com, Kindle Direct Publishing is basically a way for you to just upload your book onto the Kindle. I have lyrics for my songs, and all I did was create a poetry book with songs. It's basically the lyrics of my songs. And you can have this made as an ebook and as a paperback book. Again, Amazon does everything. They print and ship and whatever, all that stuff. And the great thing is the book doesn't have to be long. Like my book, when I launched it, was only like just over 20 pages, and mostly it doesn't almost cost anything. Like here, it's only listed at 99 cents. And but what I do is I go here, promote and advertise. What they allow to do is free book promotion right here, you see? So I create a free new book promotion. I'm not going to run it here, but you'll see how it works. And you basically are able to run the book for free as a promotion for 5 days every quarter. So you can give it away for free, get some readers, and if those readers like what you have to say in your book, they'll go on to browse more of your content and hopefully become fans, because this book is a relatively promotional book of your bigger brand. And the great thing is, well, let's say I go to Amazon and I actually want to search for something like poetry book with lyrics. And obviously my book is on the Kindle, so I'm going to choose to search on the Kindle only. I just haven't made it on paperback yet, but you can easily do that. You see, if I search for something like poetry book with songs, when I scroll down, this book of mine, this is my book, Poetry Book with Songs, it's on the first page. And of course, not many people search for poetry book with songs, but what people do search for is poetry book. Now, my job here, my goal, is to promote this so much that this book starts to rank for poetry book or similarly popular searches, which is obviously difficult. But again, if this happens, I'm going to make a lot of money with this book by itself. But that's not even my goal. The goal is actually to have people read the book, enjoy the book, and go on to become fans of my work and go on to visit my YouTube and so on and so on. But it doesn't have to be music. The music is just an example. Obviously, if you have an app on some topic like dating, you can have a dating book and people can go on and get your app. Or if you have any product, create a book that addresses some issue that your readers might have that your product helps with, so that your product is a natural transition. And again, if you want to have a 20 or 30 page book, it's very easy. You can turn that into a longer book later. You can just keep adding to the book and add new additions. But in the beginning, it's really like only 10,000 words of writing, which is actually not that hard at all. It's just a few blog posts that you put together. So you can have something very minimal. And if you don't like writing, you can have somebody write it for you, and it's not that expensive to have that outsourced. And of course, if you're already writing a book on some topic, the bonus tip is that you can actually just have a course created on that same topic too. Same content as your book has, but the book is for people who like to read, and the course would be for people who like to learn by watching video. Now, what's the third promotion? And that is to create a cool email signature. Whenever you send an email, you can choose to include your signature. Obviously, for some professional things, I wouldn't include my music, but if it's to friends or if it's to anybody else, I may choose to add a certain signature to my email, and it would look something like this. So like, let's say I go to Gmail, and this is not my real Gmail. I just made this email to create test videos, so it almost doesn't have any emails. But what I would do is I would go to settings here, and then I would click see all settings. And then what I want to do is scroll down to the signature. And there you go. You see the signature area, and you just say create new. So what I would do is give it a name, like a specific song. So I recently released a song. It's called Kissed by a Song. So I might just do that. By a song, promotion, create. So it lets me create a whole signature. So I can write something like my new popular song, and then I'm going to go to YouTube and just get the URL that I want to promote. And on YouTube, basically, I just go to Alex Gnedinic Music that I search, and my whole account is there. You see, here's my account. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can get any of the songs. Like I'm going to go to videos, and this is that Kissed by a Song. So I'm just going to get the promotional link. So you basically get the share and get your link, copy that here onto your clipboard, paste that. And also what you can do is just to draw attention, add an image. So I'm going to go and upload this image that I already have saved, but you can upload any. So this is kind of like me performing, so people can see, oh, this guy performs. Even people who you might email, but they have no idea what you do on the side, right? Maybe some acquaintance. Well, this is how they get to know, and they might appreciate it. They'd be like, wow, I had no idea Alex sings. And they'll be like, is it terrible? Let's see. So then they might click on my YouTube, and of course, my goal right there is accomplished. Boom. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I'm creating this signature. So I'm going to select, and so it looks pretty cool, right? I got this image, and I have promotion of my song. Of course, the link, if you have it, you should always link it. So it shouldn't just be a static link, just text. It should be linked. Perfect. So people can easily click on it. And then the image itself, it might be a little big, so you might want to make it like this, right? So it's not obnoxiously big, and then it's really cool. And then when you're done, what you want to do is scroll to the bottom and say save changes. So when you, after that, compose an email, look, here's your signature. You're promoting your product or your business or content, whatever you're promoting. Boom. Now, I'd probably make my image even a little smaller, but essentially now you can do all these things, and if you promote all these channels long enough, they themselves will start drawing new potential fans and customers. That's the beauty of them, is that most of these strategies can grow big. And if they can't grow big, they win with engagement, because people you're emailing with, they're probably friendly with you. And so they actually probably will want to take the step forward and learn more about you, especially if it's something interesting and you make it appealing with your copywriting here. So it's either potential to scale or potential to make a human connection. With this video, I want to start to introduce you to hashtags. Most people are very aware what hashtags are. So if you're a total beginner and you might have heard of them, but you don't know exactly what's the point of them or what are the ramifications of them and their roles in the social media algorithms, definitely still watch this video, because in the next videos, we're going to build on this. So for absolute beginners, what are hashtags? It's basically, you see this is Twitter, and you see some of the text in my tweet is just regular text as you would see anywhere, but some of the text has this pound sign ahead of the words. When you use that pound sign, it's like a conversation. For example, somebody tweeted something with a few hashtags. This is actually a student, and he said, I'm really enjoying this course on Udemy, and he used this hashtag Udemy and hashtag SEO in social media marketing. Now, this is a very rarely used hashtag because it's kind of awkward and long, but if I click on it, it's like a conversation. You see, there's many different tweets about this. For example, this tweet or this tweet. And so that tweet got saved in there. Now, some of these tweets are from 2017, like this one. This is from 2020. So it's a very, very rare hashtag. And this is 2014. So basically nobody's using this hashtag. And you can understand why, because it's long and cumbersome and clunky. But if we go back to another hashtag, like let's say Udemy or even business plan, that's a good one. Then you see there's a lot of people posting on this topic because business planning is a popular topic. And if your tweets appear here, then you'll get a lot of extra exposure. And I'm showing you Twitter here, but hashtags are obviously prevalent on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. There's less use of them in Facebook, but there's still use of them. So they're throughout social media. And typically, if there's another social media website down the line, they'll probably use hashtags. So the way you should look at it is you need to make sure that you use and appear in hashtags that are used by other people, not those dead hashtags like I showed you in the beginning, but ones that are not so competitive that you're going to just get drowned out. And that will give you extra discoverability on whatever social media marketing site you're on. And obviously through that, more sharing, because more people will find your post, will comment, will share, all that. And so you'll get more followers and more sharing. And in the next videos, I'm going to be showing you strategies for how to get the most out of hashtags so they can boost your virality. So with that, let's get right to it in the next video.
In this video, let's talk about how to dominate the Twitter hashtag algorithm. And we're going to talk about elements that work in Twitter, but very similar elements work in Instagram, TikTok, and other social media networks. Now, I searched for the entrepreneurship hashtag, so let's examine that for now. See that there's tabs on top, like the top tweets and this, people who tweet about it, photos, etc. We want our tweets to be the top tweets because if you look at it, this tweet is from 4 hours ago, and this particular hashtag gets on average a few tweets per minute. I checked before filming this video. So why is this from 4 hours ago so discoverable, this tweet? It looks like it's by Seth Godin, but it's not. It's actually by this person, Chap Grub, who actually is using the entrepreneurship hashtag in that tweet and is referencing this post. So right away, we have a few clues. It's very likely that this person uses the hashtag entrepreneurship regularly, because you see this particular tweet doesn't have a lot of engagement on it. There's no retweets, no likes, nothing. But if we were to go to this person's account, which we'll do in a second, usually what you'd notice is they use this hashtag repeatedly, or they have a term like this, entrepreneurship, in their bio. In the past, this algorithm used to rely more on engagement and retweets and the authority of a certain user in a certain hashtag. So for example, if they were to use this hashtag all the time, they would more often come up here. But now, this algorithm uses a lot of different metrics. It's very likely that because a very popular blog post is posted, that even though this particular tweet didn't get a lot of attention, this actual tweet that was the original, you see, it did get a lot of attention. So that's one hack, to retweet by commenting on an existing popular tweet and then using a hashtag on it. Because if you look at the original tweet by Seth, he doesn't use any hashtags. He just got a lot of engagement from his audience. Now, this person came in and they used the hashtag entrepreneurship, and because it was already a very popular post, and they commented their own extra comments on it, Twitter gave it this very good placement. If we were to go to this person's account, you would see that they use the word entrepreneurship in their bio, which I have seen repeat. So make sure you use your main hashtags and keywords in your bio that they give you. Don't spam the bio, but definitely make use of keywords. And then you see you would expect them to use this hashtag all the time, but they actually don't. They use all kinds of different hashtags. Even if I search their profile, the word entrepreneurship really only comes up once if I keep going down the tweets. So at least in this case, it's not the number of tweets using this hashtag. In this case, it looks like what helped them is having keyword in the bio and commenting with the hashtag on an already popular tweet. And let's take a look at another tweet. Let's say this person 22 minutes ago. Why are they here? They have very, very small engagement. Now we look at this person, some followers, like 3,000 followers. It's not too terribly impressive. If we click on him, he still uses the word entrepreneurship in his bio, and maybe he uses it in some of his historic tweets, but he doesn't seem to use an overabundance of it. So at the moment, this algorithm is very heavily reliant on having the right keywords that you use in your hashtags in your bio. Now let's look at a more competitive hashtag, for example, soccer. Here we have a person who is an authoritative person. He's got more followers, and his tweet is staying up here. So your account authority does matter, it looks like, because he doesn't have this term in his bio, but likely he has it in a lot of his soccer posts. And you don't always have to only worry about the top tab. There's also the people, which also can help you stay up, because you want to be one of the most authoritative accounts in this space. Obviously, in soccer, the Manchester United account with 22 million followers is the top person. So you wouldn't choose an incredibly competitive hashtag like this because it's going to be hard to compete. But you still see that here's this interesting account, NY Co-ed Soccer. It actually doesn't have a lot of followers, under 1,000, but they use the word soccer in their name, which is not in their bio, but it's in their actual name of the account. Because next to them you see it's like Barcelona Football Club with 32 million followers, and then really it's only extremely authoritative accounts or accounts that have the word soccer in them. So if you are planning your account name, then definitely you want to have your keyword in there. You don't have to change everything in your branding just to have that keyword, but you see it helps. But also engagement helps, because if you click on one of these accounts, you'll see that they have very engaging tweets. They retweeted something with a lot of engagement here. And if you don't have every hashtag in your name, which obviously most accounts won't because there's just not enough space, what you want to do is just grow followers, get engagement, and use the hashtags regularly so that that keyword repeats in your Twitter stream. And sooner or later, you'll start ranking up here in the top people. And the top people is a really good thing to rank in, because the top tweets, they come and go, but the people generally stay. And obviously this is soccer, so it's incredibly competitive because the top teams are here. But if you have a smaller niche, that's what you want to target by using maybe keyword in your handle, definitely the hashtag keyword in your little bio blurb, and then use those hashtags, not in a spammy way, but whenever appropriate, and definitely attempt to get engagement on these tweets, because that also helps. And that will give you the authority and follower growth to stay up in these hashtags and continuously be discovered when people are searching for these popular topics.
In this video, I want to show you a little nifty strategy, and that is creating your own unique business hashtag. For example, look, Problemio. My website is problemio.com. My hashtag could also have been my first last name because it's just so long and it's unique. So something unique that's yours, that you can have a conversation going about your business and your customers can keep up. For example, to be honest, I don't really particularly make a big use of this. I don't promote my hashtag ever, nothing really. But look what happens. I do have a secondary branded account, problemio.com. So what happens is, look, there's a conversation. For example, here's a random tweet.
I can't open my M&M's, problemio. So that's not about me. But if you look at this Sam, I didn't encourage him, but look, he's talking to me, problemio, business advice. Somewhere in my YouTube videos, I talk about the power of networking and making business relationships, common business advice. And look, I'm off to business networking meeting in hope to make some connections, right? So like literally he's talking to me about the business advice I gave. Then there's a lot of other stuff like SEO, problemio, that's related to me. Then there's sale, okay, on my apps. Again, somebody else is talking about my business. Again, here, my business, right? So people are actually talking about it. So what does that tell you? So you can make good use of it. You can use it for support. You can see when people are not happy. You can keep your customers engaged that way. And it can be fun. You can say, post pictures with my product or, something. You can do little contests or whatever. So this is not like a tremendous strategy. It's not going to revolutionize your Twitter account, but it's just a little nifty strategy, and it's fun, and it's really good for your branding. The fans who are your fans, they'll find this fun, and some people, you'll be surprised, they will use it. So try to create your own business hashtag and use it from now on. Though you don't have to overdo it, but play with it a little bit.
In this video, I'm going to walk you through my strategy for launching a music video that I plan to use to go viral on YouTube using YouTube resources only. So no other promotion. So let me tell you a little bit about the product, or in this case, the video that I'm trying to make to go viral. And then I'll show you exactly the strategies that I'm going to use, and only those strategies. And I'll explain to you why they are going to work. So I made a cover song of a old Russian popular song, like from the 60s or 70s. It's called the Georgian song, not Georgia, the American state, but Georgia, the country. It's a Russian song. What I did to it is I translated it to English, and then I rewrote some parts because the references to Georgia didn't make sense to people who speak English. So it's unique and new. And my background in music, I'm an amateur musician. Some people might say I'm a very amateur musician. Every amateur musician thinks they are better than they are. So it's very possible that what I'm going to show you isn't going to work because the music may not be good enough. Now, I'm filming this the day right after I launch this video. I plan to show you another video that I'm going to make in about maybe a month or 2 or 3, maybe around 3 months, to show you results. Now, the results may be terrible. I don't know. But in this video, I'm going to show you my plan. So you know what I'm promoting, a music video, which is really, really hard to make to go viral and to get views because there's so much music out there. So this Georgian song, I'm literally on one day after launch. So when I use a browser where I'm not logged in, if I scroll down, 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 this is that video. See this woman with the eyes, and it's me singing and looking funny singing. So I'm about maybe number 30 or 40 in the search. That's on day one. What I plan to do is, you see, I plan to rank for some keywords. I have a very long title. There's a name of the singer, who's the original singer, whose cover I'm doing. There's the name of this song in Russian and in English. So I have a few keywords that I'm trying to target. That's number one goal for me. Number two goal for me is, let's say if I do search for that singer, I'm going to show you that singer now. Let's say this is that song. And there's some people doing covers of him, like this woman here and another person here. But this is the original guy. And let's say what happens when I click him, he has a recommendations area. And so do many similar videos. And my goal is for my video to get so many views and to target so many different keywords and slight sub-niches of the song and the genre that I would be recommended next to many other videos like this. That's the goal. So when I'm ranking for my keywords in search and I start to accumulate views, in this case, it's hard to tell how many views I'll need. Like some of these people have 2,500 views. Some of these videos have 1.6 million views. This person has 4 million views. This person has almost 150,000 views. So it's a little bit competitive. So as my video starts to get up to tens of thousands of views, it's going to begin to have a chance to rank and get recommended. And the more it gets recommended, mind you, the important thing is that it's going to get recommended on many, many, many videos, not just the one I clicked, but many videos like this. And the more popular my video is going to be, the more it's going to get recommended on other more popular videos. You see, more popular. So the virality happens when I go up in popularity. I start to get recommended next to other highly trafficked videos, which gives me more and more traffic. It's a snowball effect. So I'm after that snowball effect. Now, how in the world am I going to get tens of thousands of views for a song that's not even an original, that I'm not even a professional musician, and so on and so on? So here's my secret weapon. I'm going to run a little bit of ads. These ads are going to be for the keywords that I'm targeting, which are going to be essentially in my tags of the video. You see, some names of this song in Russian, some names of this song in English, and largely the author name in both languages. And my hope is that people who like him, you see, he's already passed away, unfortunately, and there's not much new stuff happening around his music. And I'm one of the only people who's translating his stuff in English or rewriting it. So my hope is that my music is good enough to attract people who want to hear his music. But you know how things are when you listen to a song from the 60s or 70s. People who are fans, they've heard that song 200,000 times already. So they like it, but they're a little bored of it and they want something new. And here I come with something new. And that's why I want to attract people who are interested in the subject matter. And mind you, when I bid in ads for his name, almost nobody's advertising on his name. So it's extremely cheap ads, like cents per view. And it's going to help me accumulate views very cheaply. It's pennies. And then I'm also going to run ads that are pre-roll on similar channels. So like channels that also upload his music, or people who cover his music or similar genre, so that I know that those listeners might also like my style. And if my song becomes popular, it's going to start to climb the search rankings and the recommendation rankings. So that's what I'm after. You see, I'm not faking any views, but I'm after the engaged potential audience who hopefully they like my music to a sufficient point where they start to subscribe, they start to listen, and those are the signals that YouTube looks for to start recommending a video more. And of course, if you'd like to take a look at it, I'll have the link to this video in the resources section of this video so you can take a look for yourself. I'd love to hear your comments. This is a hobby of mine. It's a passion project. I'm not running ads here. I'm not trying to make money from this. This is just like something that I love to do on my free time, and I like sharing it. So I'm excited when people actually look at it. So if you check it out and comment, I'd appreciate that, because there's no profit in this for me. This is just purely sharing my hobby. But I hope you see the strategy that I'm essentially betting on virality from sufficient quality of the song and correct positioning in both YouTube algorithms, the SEO and the recommendations. And I'm boosting my content with ads, and I'm going to be boosting it to the point where YouTube starts recommending the video on its own, and I can stop running the ads at that point. And then it's going to be a snowball effect. And my goal is to be one of the most recommended videos in this whole niche. Now, my video is not the best video in this niche. There's no way. But it might become one of the best recommended because it has two things going for it. I'm likely the best marketer promoting this because the other people promoting similar music, they're not professional marketers, and I know the YouTube algorithm in and out. I'm also running ads, and I'm also doing the SEO. So my music quality level is, let's say, 80% or 75% of where it should be. But I'm going to make up for it with a lot of marketing savvy. And hopefully this combines into making this one of the more successful videos. Now, if people don't like it, it's never going to become viral. But if people do like it enough, then I have a chance. So I'm filming this in June of 2020. So hopefully by the end of summer or early fall 2020, I'll have another video right after this with results. That's my hope. I'm not promising 100% that it's going to happen. So if you don't see any video after this that's going to show you results, that means I probably failed. But hopefully you will see a video after this, and then hopefully I'll be showing you great results. But the takeaway is this is exactly what it takes to tap into the YouTube algorithms so that you become viral on YouTube without any outside promotion or help by anyone else. With this video, we're going to kick off the section of the course that talks about running social media contests. And throughout the next few videos, I'll actually walk you through every step of it. There are a few benefits of running contests. They're going to boost your existing follower engagement, and they're going to get you a little bit more sharing because those followers will be telling their friends about your contest, like, hey, look at this, here's what you can win. So you'll get a little bit of social activity and sharing that way, and you'll be able to also run ads to your contest to get new followers, because a contest is a pretty interesting and compelling thing to run ads to, especially if you have an interesting prize that people can win. Also, a good idea is to create an event hashtag. Here's an example of a hashtag: Alex Book Giveaway. Now, this is not a creative or compelling hashtag, it's just my example. In your case, the shorter and the more catchy and the more unique your hashtag can be, the better. And you can actually use this hashtag all over social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere. And so this way you can cross-pollinate your followers so that you can share and reshare your contest all over your social media. Now, let me give you some easy contest ideas. It doesn't have to be hard. All a contest can be is answer this question right, give them a little trivia question, and you'll get some little thing like an ebook or something. And the ebook is just a PDF really that you're going to be sending to them. And the question can be something about your business so that people can get to know your brand a little better. What year was my business founded? Some question that is interesting and funny to answer. Another kind of a contest is tell them like or comment or give opinion about something to win. People enter simply by liking or commenting, and this creates extra engagement on your social channel there. And one other interesting thing is ask people as the contest to post the coolest photo of them using the product, traveling with your product, or at your place of business. This creates engagement. It looks like people are really actively using your product. They're visiting your business. So it will show that there's a lot of activity and there's a lot of buzz or movement around this contest and around your business. You can also run very popular, you might have seen this before, fill in the blank or create a caption for this funny image. It's really fun for people to do. It gets their creative juices going, but really you're just getting extra engagement with this contest. So you see, the ideas are really simple and you can run them within an hour and finish them essentially within that same day. And this enables you to create these kinds of contests weekly, especially if people know, hey, every Monday is Contest Monday, so they'll be ready and they'll be more engaged. And after a few weeks of this, there's going to be a lot of activity around your contest. Of course, the last thing that people really like to do is enter your email in order to be chosen to win in the contest. Yeah, of course, because as a business owner, you want to collect their emails, and it's perfect for you because they'll be glad to enter the emails in order to try to win. Now, let me talk about what you can give away. Something that's really easy for you to consistently give away without any cost are digital products, ebooks, online courses, memberships to things, or any kinds of digital products. If you don't have any like that, you can license them somewhere or buy pre-made ones, or you can literally create your own PDF. And this is something you can give away every week. So imagine if you run the weekly contests, that's fantastic. It's no cost to you, and you're going to be making your group or your account or your followers, you're going to be waking them up. And instead of them lurking and just reading, never commenting, eventually, slowly, you're going to get new people to wake up and begin engaging with your account. You can also give away your time. Let's say sometimes I say I'm going to give away 15 minutes with me. You can do a coaching call with me, free 15 minutes to whoever wins. Time is much more expensive, of course, but some people might like that better, and it helps you to have a variety of things people can win, because if people can just win the same old thing, people who never want a digital product will never play in that tournament or in that quiz or in that contest. So you'll just never wake them up. So that's why it's good to have a variety of different things you can offer so that different people would get interested in different things that you're giving away. Also, you can give away status. People want status, even though it's arbitrary. Status can be as simple as you're going to be chosen as like member of the month, follower of the month, or you can be given access to more exclusive social accounts. It could be a paid Facebook group, or it can be your paid membership site of your area or something. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but essentially people will want the status of being one of the top people, or simply being mentioned as, hey, so-and-so is the top member this week. That's another thing you can do that's not that difficult to give away. And of course, if you have some kind of premium features, that's also easy to maybe sometimes give away. And if you want to have a really significant contest, like a rare one, maybe once a month or once a year or once every 6 months, you really want to try to hit it out of the park, you can have large contests that you run a lot of ads to, and the prize can be significant, like an expensive gift card, or maybe, for example, if you're running a digital photography group, well, you can give away a fancy digital camera. Then people will really want to win that because that's hundreds of dollars. Now, it's expensive for you, but the quality of your giveaway is going to have direct correlation to people's participation. So I'd experiment with a lot of small and weekly contests. And every once in a while, if you see engagement on your small and weekly contests, do a bigger contest to really hit it out of the park and really get a lot of activity around it.
In this video, I want to show you how to actually post your contest and announce it to your followers. In this particular case, I'm on my Alex Ginedinik music page, and all I'll do is create a post, and I have some text that I pre-wrote, so I don't waste your time writing it. I'm just going to paste it, and I'll read it to you. Announcing a contest. There you go. Like this photo. You don't have to have like this photo. In your case, you can have a vote of some kind. You can say comment on whatever you're posting. You have many options. But in this case, I chose like this photo in order to be entered into a free membership on www.touchedbyasong.com, which is my website. I don't actually have a membership site there, but that's just an example of something you can offer. You can offer a free ebook. You can offer membership to something else. You can offer a discount to something else. It's just whatever you have to offer. In this case, I made up an offer. Now, next sentence. Everyone who likes this post is eligible. Winners will be announced by end of the day today. And then you want to make it clear that this event is sponsored by touchedbyasong.com and not Facebook. And then you can post the contest. So it's really that easy. Just make sure that the picture that you use is exciting and fits well. You see here, I just kind of allowed it to pick any picture from this website. But in your case, make sure the picture is good. Like in this case, the picture is not so good because my head is cut off. Probably if I post it, it probably will get fixed by Facebook. But in any case, you want the picture to be representative of what the contest is and to be exciting so that people want to join. And make sure the offer is also exciting so that people want to join. Whatever the reason is that your people are on your page, that they like your page, make your contest aligned with that so that people want to win whatever you're offering. But in any case, this is pretty easy. This is how you would create your announcement for your contest.
If you're looking for free things that you can give away in your contests, here is an interesting site, free PLR downloads. What this means is that you can get stuff for free, ebooks, online courses, videos, a lot of things like that, and free. The only problem is usually it's very low quality or of moderate quality. So you have to sift through it and make sure that it's acceptable for your customers, the people who you're giving things to. If you desperately need something free, this is a good place to start because it's obviously free. But if you need something of higher quality, then I recommend either licensing paid content or making content on your own. And it can be very easy to create content. You can create a little PDF, but something that you feel is really, really good. That's the quality barometer. Ask yourself, do you want that item? In a way, content from here Mostly it's not very good. Every once in a while you can find something pretty good, but generally long term you want to think of what are some awesome things to give to my audience, not super basic, because you don't want them to be disappointed, and once they have a bad experience with you, they may never really engage with you again. They might lose that respect. So be careful using this. I don't fully recommend it. This is more like a quick fix to find something literally today to give away. But long term, I think you want to strive for something of higher quality. In this video, I'm going to give you some cool tips for announcing your contest winners in a way that will make people want to play next time. I'll show you how. So, first of all, when you announce the winner, you want to announce not only the prize, but the benefits. If it's some book, the benefits of the book. Like they're going to know this and they're going to know that, and it's going to be super cool, and they're going to be able to accomplish that, so that everybody else wants to win that book next time. And with this announcement, announce the date of the next contest. This is where you can say this is every Monday, or also, you can use exclusivity or scarcity instead of the regular option. Oh, like every Monday there's a contest. You can take it the other direction and say, this is the last contest in a while, or the last contest of the month, or the last contest of the year will be next week. Make sure you enter that one because that will be the last one. Or there's only like one prize left. Make sure you really jump on that one. So both ways work. You can have a regular contest, or you can have scarcity or exclusivity, because that pushes people towards taking action because they don't want to miss out. Now, here's a hack. Even though like Facebook doesn't allow you to ask for reposts of announcements of contests, it doesn't say anything about asking for reposts of the winner announcements. So you can ask people to share the winner. That's okay as far as how I understand their contest rules. Now here's another hack. You can actually turn the announcement into another contest by saying, please like or comment on this particular post, which is the announcement of the winner, for a chance to win another copy of the ebook or another membership somewhere. So essentially, you are creating extra engagement, extra buzz with your audience. That actually becomes the next contest, like subconsciously. People think the next contest is whenever you announce it, but really this becomes the next contest because you're literally saying like or comment, and you'll choose a winner from those likes or comments, which essentially really is the new contest. So you can turn the announcement, the winner announcement, into a totally new contest, which is a pretty cool, nifty hack. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of ideas for big brands and how they did social media contests. This is Eggos. If you live in the United States, you would probably know Eggos. They advertise a lot on TV. They've been around for decades. Well-known brand. And all they did is they asked people to upload photos of their own recipes, fun recipes of Eggos with Eggos. But because they have a lot of customers who know them, a lot of people eat this stuff. Guess what? A lot of people posted amazing pictures, and guess what? These are recipes that probably inside Eggos they didn't even think of, like banana split nachos. This is a breakfast kind of a thing. So Eggo waffle with nuts. People put all kinds of fun things on it. And guess what? I'm not a fan of Eggos, but now I want to eat these things. They look beautiful. Look at that southern pecan bars a la mode. Oh my God, I want to eat it. Not only do they get the fans engaged, but they actually get amazing fan activity and extra people who want to, now I want to buy these Eggos and I want to eat them. So that makes it super fun, super visual. And I'm a person who's not engaged, and I saw this and I'm like, I want this. Now, am I going to buy it? I don't know, because I'm busy working at the moment, but at least I want it. So next time I'm in the store, I'll think twice about it. I'm like, maybe we can do something cool with these Eggos. So now let me show you another example of a successful contest that's really different. This is from a hockey team, San Jose Sharks, and they have a hashtag, San Jose Sharks Territory. So if you click on this hashtag, and this can be on social media like Instagram, anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, you see a lot of people, they have this little sign Sharks territory, and they have fans coming everywhere and posting pictures of Sharks territory. Look, this is like a people going on vacation and they have the Sharks territory. There's a lot of fans doing this. You can see a lot of people, like a person randomly hiking and they're wearing a Sharks jersey and they have this Sharks territory thing. So it's a lot of way for fans to have fun, to feel like they're part of the team, they're part of the fan club. It's a way for people, for the team to build buzz and excitement and just fun around their brand. So they've had this Sharks territory for a long time, these hashtags, and it's actually working. It's fun. People know of it. They post. It's a really good way to engage people and get people posting pictures with Sharks jerseys and all of their branded logos and all that stuff. So these are a couple of interesting examples for how brands do contests. In the next video, we're going to do an exercise where you create your own contest, where you make your own contest idea. In this video, I want to show you a clever and nifty tactic or hack, whatever you might want to call it, to get people to reshare your social media account or your content. This is my Twitter profile. If I scroll down a little bit, what you'll see is this tweet. You see I retweeted it. You see here it says I retweeted. Let's read it so you understand what's happening. Bravo, Genadinik, that's me. Your book, Mobile App Marketing and Monetization, is featured in Book Authority's list of best search engine marketing books of all time. Okay, I've never heard of this organization. Book Authority, I don't really know them. My assumption is that they just created this little logo. It probably took them a minute to make that. And then they put my book next to it, and they put 100 other books next to it that they found on Amazon. And they tweeted that to these people. You see, it's 100 best books. That means your book can be pretty bad and it still makes that list. So it's not much of an award, but they tweeted it to 100 different authors, all of whom have somewhat of a social following or a big social following. And because it's flattering, for me, it's a nice thing to retweet, because then I show that to my audience. Hey, look, my book got an award. Not only does it show that I got an award, but it shows my actual book. It's a little bit of a promotion for my book. So it would have been even better if they linked to the book on Amazon so that I would have more incentive to retweet it, but I retweeted it anyway. So these guys, by creating this little graphic and this little bit of a fake award, got a lot of people, including myself, to retweet it. So you can do the same thing. You can create a little award thing or a little recognition thing. Like, hey, I believe you're the top 10 entrepreneurs in this niche, or I believe you're top 10 experts in this niche. Or you can make a blog post, top 10 experts in such and such topic, and then tweet that to those experts. And because it gives them authority when somebody else recognizes them as an authority and they share that, it's not like they saying that about themselves, it's somebody else recognizing them. So that's a good thing to share. And a lot of people might share that. Now, the first time these people shared that with me, I actually ignored it, but then they tweeted it to me again and again and again. And then I was like, okay, I'll retweet you guys. And I'm showing you this on Twitter, but you can do this on most social networks where you can tag the individual. Like me in this case, I got tagged, so I saw it. And because I saw it, I clicked on it, I looked at it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I reshared it. So wherever that functionality is available, you can do this too. And there's not much to it, but it's a really good way to get shared by authoritative accounts.
In this video, I'll show you a tactic that will get you reshared and retweeted on social media by celebrities. If you look at the search I made on this video, why everyone's mom loves Susie Orman, that's funny. If you don't know Susie Orman, she's very popular. She has a great personality. She's in the personal finance space and she has a TV show. And my mom loves Susie Orman. And then I was on some interview with some blogger, and that blogger's mom loves Susie Orman. And so we started talking about Susie Orman, but then we really quickly realized that everybody's mom loves Susie Orman. And so we started talking about why does everybody's mom love Susie Orman. So I made this video, why everybody's mom loves Susie Orman. You can see it only got 1,000 views, maybe a little more. It got rounded down. But all of this 1,000 views came from Susie Orman because I tweeted at her on Twitter. I went at Susie Orman. Here's a video why everyone's mom loves Susie Orman. And you know what? Everybody would click on that if there was a video like why everybody's mom loves you, whoever you are. You don't have to make videos about why everybody's mom loves everybody, but funny and interesting and unique ideas like this, especially if there's somebody in your niche that you want to network with. A lot of people are tweeting at them, talking to them, and they ignore that. Not because they're mean, but they just don't have the attention. But something super unique and catchy like this, or funny or sweet, yeah, it got her attention, and it will get a lot of people's attention. And she had over 1 million followers at that point, so she was a big account. And if you need to get in front of influencers to share your work for free, or journalists or bloggers to promote you, this is a nice way to get on their radar and keep on doing similar things like this so that they would recognize you among the thousands of people tweeting at them. They recognize your tweets or whichever social network you use to contact them. And then if you ever need to have a few minutes of their time, a little extra attention, it's not a guarantee that they'll give it to you, but they'll be much more likely to do that. As long as it's complimentary, it's sweet, it's not stupid, and it's not negative. Sometimes when trying too hard, we might make that error and kind of go too far. So don't go too far. So try doing this by maybe writing a blog post or making a video, flattering in a funny, sweet way some celebrity in your niche that you want to network with, and see if they'll share it. If they will, you can do this again and again and again. If they don't, try a different celebrity or try a different method. Maybe the video or blog post you made just wasn't compelling enough to grab their attention.